Welcome to On Air with Akilah the Genius. I am your host, Akilah the Genius, and today I am honored to be joined by a true musical force, an acclaimed independent artist, producer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist whose sound is rooted in legacy and elevated by innovation. Hailing from Connecticut and carrying a rich lineage of gospel and jazz excellence, he's carved out a lane that blends soul, R&B, and musical sophistication like no other. I'm talking about none other than Doobie Powell. Doobie, welcome to On Air with Akilah the Genius. How are you?
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you're here as well, and I'm happy to be talking to you right now. I listened to your live at Parkville Sound, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So
Thank you.
I'm honored to be here with you today. Does anybody ever tell you that you remind them of CeeLo?
CeeLo,
Did anybody ever say that?
especially when I was bigger,
Okay.
people used to say that all the time because I have a bald head,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, but I don't know how much these days because I lost a
Okay.
significant amount of weight. So, but a year or two ago, people used to always say you look like CeeLo.
The first tour is called Perfect Remedy. So let's talk a little bit about like how it came about. Like I know you were prepared to do another tour and then you ended up getting sick. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, but let's just talk about
Sure.
how you got here and what we can look forward to on this Perfect Remedy tour.
Well, like I said earlier, thank you for having me on your show. And well, I guess I'll start from the beginning. I started working on this record in the beginning of 2024. And for some reason, sometimes, you can have a concept already before you even start the record. And
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes it comes as you're working on the record. So I was working on this record, but I could never find something to hone in on to give me a complete concept for the whole record. And but as I was working on it, all of the songs that were being downloaded to me
Mm-hmm.
were symbolically like healing.
Yes.
So as I was working on the title cut of the record, it's called Remedy. And I said, well, this is it.
Yeah.
This makes so much sense now that I'm feeling the music and everything is kind of going together. And every song doesn't have to be the same for it to have a connection. So
Mm-hmm.
once, the Remedy became the title of the record, it pushed me even more to finish the record. So we finished the record in well, we put it out in September 29 of 2024. And oh, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks after that, I had a fall,
Mm-hmm.
had a really bad fall. And to make a long story short, some things happened in the fall that I didn't realize till a week later. And because of it, I became septic and you know,
Mm-hmm.
it just sent me down a whole rabbit hole for like 3 months. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, I felt like God was setting me up to be able to get myself through this because
Mm-hmm.
of that record. And ironically, the whole time I was sick, I listened to this record like every day. And I don't know if I'm the only artist or producer like this, but once I finish a body of work, I very rarely go back and listen to it.
Interesting.
It's like that's just all right, I got that
Out
out.
of you,
Now
yeah.
it's time to go to something new. But this particular record I listened to every day through this whole process.
Mm.
And it was like healing to my soul, my own music.
Why
So,
is that hard to believe?
well, it's not hard to believe, but when you haven't gone through something like that, a lot of times God gives you things to be able to encourage or help someone else through what they're going through. If you're really trying to do something positive and something good, it shouldn't only be medicine for you.
For sure. It's when I minister to you, I minister to myself.
That's it.
So
That's
it's
it.
for you.
Yeah, and as much as I know that sometimes you don't, it doesn't hit home until you actually in a position where
Mhm,
you have to rely on what was given to you.
mhm,
And so I got through that and then I started healing and then I met Jay Robinson Management and then we started working on a tour that was supposed to happen the summer of last year.
mhm,
And because of all the stuff I went through and when I got sick, when I fell, all of the septic and the infections and stuff, it was hard for it to leave my body. So in June, when we were supposed to start the tour, I got sick again.
mm.
And for the rest of last year, from June to the end of last year, I was sick.
Wow.
And so I never got to do that tour. But even in that, I was still listening to my record, which let me know that there's a reason
Mhm,
why I'm in this situation again. So I can be a lot of times, and I don't want to make this a gospel or churchy thing, but a lot of times we go through things in life to be a testament to other people.
mhm.
You know, the key word in testimony or testament is test.
Yes. Wow.
So sometimes we can't show anybody that you can come through a test unless you've been tested.
100%.
So I believe God allowed me to go through what I went through to get to this point to say, hey, I went through this
Hmm. Hmm.
and I made it through. And everybody's outcome not going to be the same, but you can still have faith while you're going through it. So I'm just happy that I'm still here to be able to tell my testimony and be able to tell people that I've made it through, and it's because of the God that I serve.
Period.
Period.
Mm. That's deep. Yes. What's your favorite song on the Perfect Remedy album?
My favorite song, I actually got two.
Okay. What's the favorite too?
One is called Fairweather Friends,
Okay.
and there's another one. It's the last song on the record is called Here Always.
Okay.
And it's just some about those two songs that uh really speaks to my heart.
All right. Let's take a listen.
Your true value, never them. Somehow you're always the issue. Watching them support us, it's not easy. But you gotta press undo, undo. So there without a friend, I'll say bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know,
like it.
But I think sometimes we as people got to realize that everybody ain't for you. Everybody ain't in your corner. Everybody ain't rooting for you. Even some of the people that's closest to you are not, you know, for
Mhm.
you. And the sooner you know that, the easier you can get rid of that excess weight and be around people who's rooting for you, who want to help you go to the next level.
We talked a little bit about kind of how you got here, right? We talked about the history of leading up to now finally getting you on tour. What can we expect? How would you describe your show? You know what I mean? How many songs are we going to hear? Is it going to be different every night? Are going to be, is it super calculated, or are we going to get a little bit of, freestyle, like, what city you starting in? Let me know everything.
Well, I don't know the cities yet. I
Okay.
laid that up to Jay and the crew.
Okay.
And but far as the show, that's my thing. I handle the music.
Okay.
And I come up, like I said, like you said, I came up in the church and uh and I came up around a lot of jazz and funk and that type of music. So that's that's where I rely.
Hmm.
And whether it's gospel or jazz, either one of them are very heavily in spontaneity.
Hmm.
So if there's a lot in there you can unpack, but
Yeah.
it'll be some calculation. But I'm more of a vibe person. I like to go off of the feeling, you
Hmm.
know, and I'm a read the room kind of guy.
Okay.
So if the room vibing with you, that's what you go with. If they vibing more to this, then you got to go to that. But you got to be in tune. You can't just decide that what you have planned is going to be the end all be all for that night. Sometimes you may have to go another way. It might be it might be 7 songs. It might be two and a half. You know, sometimes when me and my crew get together, especially me and my brothers,
Hmm.
we could groove so hard off of a song, one song for like 20 minutes.
I love it. So, if you guys want to know more, anything about Doobie Powell, make sure you check his website. Tour information will be posted very soon. Doobie, Doobie, Powell, Powell.com. Okay.
That's it.
Let's talk about your gold signature vinyl collection or
Yeah.
collector's edition, right?
Yes. Yes. And
So
this is
now tell me about that.
this is something that me and management put together. I've been putting out music or been an artist since mid 90s,
Mhm.
but I actually put my first record or album. They don't really say albums no more, but my first album record I put out in 2000. Put
Mhm.
out a lot of records since then.
Mhm.
So, we won't be able to fit all of the music on this particular vinyl, but some of the songs that we feel are some of the songs that speak to my career will be on there, commemorating my career and not acting like it's over, but you gotta celebrate it and keep going. I'm very excited about it. We're not printing up a whole bunch of them.
Limited edition.
Yeah.
I
So
love
if
that.
you really want it, you're gonna have to get in on this.
I love it. Okay, well, I got to get me one. Your musical roots run deep. How did growing up in a gospel and jazz influenced household with a family that is just as powerful musically and well known as the Winans and the Clark sisters, your dad being a living legend and all of that. Like, how does that shape your sound today?
It's a definite impact on all of our legacies. My dad, before he really got seriously into the church, he was a jazz musician, and then he was a part of the growing genre of what we now know as hip hop. My dad was one of the founding musicians and members of the group Sugar Hill Gang. Yeah, and they became really known for their song, the hit, hopping, you don't stop, everyone give it that, So, but before it became a rap group, it was a band.
Mm-hmm.
The rap part just hit.
Right.
And they recorded a lot of music. Some of the music that you probably still hear today was recorded by my dad and my uncles who were a part of the band. My dad and his brothers, not blood brothers, but they kind of like my situation, brothers from another mother. They had a band called Wood, Brass, and Steel, and they recorded a lot of records, and so that was my upbringing. That was my upbringing uh, before and during the church years. My dad did this thing with me and my two brothers that he called the headphone treatment. And what he would do was he would put headphones on us at night. For each of us, me and my brothers are all perfectly 5 years apart. I don't know how my parents did this. With me, my dad was into something musically, and that's what he had me listening to. And then when my brother Billy came, he was in some other type of stuff, and he played that for in his ears. And then when my baby brother Kevin came, he just got it all. He just he got everything. So that's how we grew up, listening to to anybody you can name: George Duke, Herbie, Parliament, Chick Corea, and gospel, the Hawkins, Andre Crouch, who is still one of my favorites to this day, Thomas Whitfield, and then the Clarks and the Winans and all of that. So we was listening to everything music. That's what brings us to who we are today.
Okay, you said that you grew up listening to anybody I can name.
Hmm.
Okay. Bobby Humphrey.
Bobby Humphrey.
Uh-huh.
You got me on that one. You got me.
I got you.
Now, I
Yeah.
will say
Yeah.
I might not know the name, but if there's a song or something, I might
You,
know the
you
song.
probably know a song. All right. Okay. I think probably the most famous song by Bobby Humphrey, and it's a woman,
Okay.
jazz flutist, Harlem River Drive. Harlem River Drive, Harlem River Drive. I can't, but she's, playing the flute, and everything is around her. But anyway, I said, okay, let me test them. Let me.
You got me on that one. I ain't gonna hold you. You got
All
me on
right,
that one.
okay. But I see what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I feel like a lot of people don't know about Bobby Humphrey, though, to be honest. It's so much music out there.
Hmm.
So much music out there, and
You'll never be able to listen to it all.
never, never. But that's the beauty of it too. You know what I mean? We're all so connected without even knowing.
But see now, this is the great thing
Yeah.
about music enthusiasts, because now, because you said Bobby Humphrey, I'm gonna go look her up when we get off this live.
And listen to Harlem River Drive. That's one of my favorites, and that's how I was introduced to her. And to be honest, I still have to really dig all the way into her discography, I guess you could say. But anyway, yeah, check her out. But not to, your dad definitely probably knows her for
Yeah,
sure,
he
for sure.
my dad was always turning me on to music I never heard before, even up until
Mhm.
he transitioned. He
Mm-hmm.
would call me like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, listen to this song. Check this out." This is
Mm-hmm.
all the time. That was part of our
Love
relationship
language.
and our love lane. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
just putting each other on to different music, and it was mostly him because he done heard everything.
Well, you're known for blending neo soul, jazz, R&B, gospel. How do you approach creating such seamless fusions across genres?
I think one of the main things into being so diverse musically is to not have a complete view on what it is you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of people lose their musicality because you're trying to push yourself in one direction.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you limit the possibilities for you musically. I never subscribe to just only sounding like gospel music because I heard too much music in my head to only be generated this way, and then I'm I hear more than just jazz music
Mm-hmm.
in my head. I hear more than just funk. I hear more than just like you got to be open to whatever the heart feels.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people lose. You got a lot of people, especially I'll say in gospel music
Mm-hmm.
and other musics too, like R&B and and you know, but once they get something becomes hot, then that's what everybody want to veer to.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at how music was when I was growing up, there was so much diversity in music genres, period, not just one genre. Jazz is pretty much it was pretty much one way,
Mm-hmm.
expression, but you still got to know how to play these songs in this way. But in gospel back in the day, there was a lot of diversity. That's why you got the Winans. That's why you got the Clarksons. That's why you got the Hawkins. That's why you got Richard Smallwood, rest in peace. That's why you got Thomas Whitfield. That's why you got so many different vibes of music. They was all singing to the same God,
Mm-hmm.
but they had diversity, you
Right.
know. But then now the thing is, let's all do this CCM stuff. That's what we all want to do now. There's nobody trying to do nothing different, you
Right.
know. And or if you look at R&B or hip hop now, everybody wants to, T-Pain made the auto tune famous. Now everybody, even rappers, is using auto tune now
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's hot. It's the thing to do, So it's I just never subscribed to,
What everybody else was doing.
yeah, that wasn't my thing. I go off of what I'm feeling, what
Mm-hmm.
music makes me feel. You could play a chord and it make you feel something today,
Mm-hmm.
and then go play another chord tomorrow and you feel something else. You know, you don't always have to do the same exact thing. I know
Right.
producers that can only produce trap music or they can only produce, a certain type of music. And
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to be that. I wanted to be a gumbo as you will.
Yeah. Um, I think that's amazing. I mean, and it's also okay for those producers and or creators who are um one track minded, so to speak, or who can only do like you sound very similar to me. Like I never grew up and said, I want to be a nurse and that's it. Like I
Hmm.
don't have that kind of, I was always what some people would say all over the place. but that's just our gift. Like we are able to kind of focus that way. You know what I
Yep.
mean? In a way.
Whatever
So
vibes, whatever you feel.
whatever you feel, and that's okay. So because of that, would you consider yourself a genre bender? Because this is what they're calling it, right? A genre bender. Or now I'm gonna make up my own word, or a genre blender.
I'll take either.
Either one, yes,
Yeah,
right. Because
because that's music makes you feel all kind of different ways. So that
Mhm,
means if that's the case, then there has to be variety, even in music.
has to be. And I just really, I never liked, being put in a box. I don't like that the music industry does that, which is why being independent is just really kind of a blessing. You get to do whatever you want, and the people who understand you, are your audience, and you could be at peace in a way.
Music separates the real from entertainment
Hmm.
because real music lovers,
Hmm.
they get into the uniqueness of music.
Hmm.
But then you got the people that's really heavily into entertainment.
Hmm.
So if there's no excitement there, and not even just musically excitement, just excitement. If they eyes aren't being entertained, then it doesn't mean much to them.
And they don't know what to do with it. They're like, what is this? You mentioned music being a lot about how you feel, being able to
Mhm.
like emote those feelings and being able to kind of just go with the flow. Your music is described as sophisticated and emotionally undeniable, right? What's your creative process for balancing the technicality with the feeling?
Mm, that's a good question.
Mhm.
Um, I think one, you have to know what you're doing.
Mhm.
You know, fortunately, I've been blessed. God has given me the gift to be able to make music.
Mhm.
There's a lot of lanes when it comes to being a creative. Some people can really sing, some people can really play, some people can, you know, put the whole thing together. Everybody is not able to put the whole thing together.
Mhm.
A one man band, if you would say. Everybody doesn't have that gift. Um, but I I'm happy to be one of those ones that do. And
Mhm.
you know, technically it wouldn't work if you didn't know what you were doing and if you didn't know how to put
Mhm.
the whole situation together. You would have to rely on someone else to do it. Um,
Mhm.
and so then that can put you in a situation where if that person is not good enough, then that would leave you in a place for the world to see you not good enough.
Mhm.
So I'm happy that I'm able to be the total package. I think
Mhm.
um and I'm happy that God has given me the ability to know what's good and what's not. Because some people don't know that. Some people just think that their stuff is good
Mhm.
and it's really not. And the way the world is now, you don't need nobody to tell you that it's not good.
Right.
You can believe that it's not that it's good, and it doesn't matter what anybody else say. Back in the day, you had to rely on somebody saying that this is good or this is not good, or you need to do this, or you need to sharpen this area, or you need to you now anybody could be a star. It doesn't matter. Anybody could be a music producer, or now they call it beat maker.
Right.
So anybody could be that now. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have any type of musical history or background. You just know how to work a piece of equipment, and now you're that. I hope I answered the question.
I think you did. I mean, balancing technicality with feeling, I mean, it's in you. So, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I feel like, and then being, like you said, and then being, you were heavily influenced by your dad, who was, you know, not only a professional musician, but just like in love with music. You know, did you feel pressure to kind of go that route because your dad was in the industry, and because he kind of not forced music on you, but like he just sped it to you? That's all he kind of like he did you feel pressured, or is it
No,
something that you felt like this was who you were in a way, and he was just grooming you, like just, you know,
yeah,
cultivating that power in you?
I didn't feel pressured. I wanted to do it. Like, I started playing. Most people that know me in the music world know that I was a drummer
Yeah.
before I started
Okay.
singing and playing keys. I was
Mm-hmm.
I was a drummer first. I started playing drums when I was like 2, 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a love for it that early. And I was like playing, like, at a young age, and it was just something that I always wanted to do.
So you started as a drummer, but
Mhm.
Nord is a company that makes electronic musical instruments, best known for high-end gear like their keyboards, pianos, synthesizers, organs. You're endorsed by them. So tell me how you felt when you got the endorsement. How did you get the endorsement? And what's your favorite Nord instrument to play?
Well, I guess how I got started with Nord, when I was in Japan
Mm,
back in, I want to say the first time I went to Japan was 1994.
okay.
And we were in Tokyo, and me and one of the other musicians, we had a day off. So we found a music store, and we went in this music store, and I saw keyboards I had never seen before in America. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, man, what is this? First time I seen a chord Triton and a
Mm-hmm.
chord Trinity was in Japan. The first time I seen a Yamaha motif was in Japan. We hadn't got these keyboards yet. And then I seen this really red keyboard, and it said Nord. I was like, what is a Nord? I've heard the other brands like the Korg and Yamaha and Roland. I've heard of those before, but I had never heard of Nord. And Nord hadn't come to the States yet. It was only a boutique keyboard overseas. I want to say maybe about 9, 10 years later, I actually started playing a Nord. I was at a gig, and they had a Nord, and I played, and I was like, man, I like this keyboard. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime I would go out, from that moment on, I would request the Nord. I wasn't signed with them yet, or I wasn't a part of their company yet. And I would go to this trade show called NAMM.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Anaheim, California. I started going, I want to say in 2015. I would always go to the Nord booth, and I would fool around on the keyboards and everything like that. Fast forward to about 2019, a friend of mine who was already a Nord artist signed up with Nord. He invited me and my brother Kevin. He invited us to his booth because he was playing. He was doing a demonstration of the keyboards. Went there, and he invited us to sit in with him. And if you know anything about Nord, there's a million people there. And whenever they have performances at any of the booths, people just crowd around the booth. And this particular time, the head and the creator of Nord was there.
Wow.
He got to hear us play, and he signed my brother. My brother got signed before me. He signed my brother right on the spot. And my brother plays everything, but he's a he's an organ player. Like he loves the organ. That's his first love. But he signed my brother on the spot, and then uh some months to a year later, I went back and they signed me. At the time they were releasing this keyboard called the Nord Stage 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was liking that keyboard, and now they got a new keyboard out called the Nord Grand 2. And it's like having a grand piano,
Mm.
that you can carry around. And so I play that keyboard. That's one of the keyboards I I endorse for them. And
Okay.
yeah, so that was, it was a blessing that, I wasn't even looking for at the time.
And it's
And
something.
but I
Mm.
was happy because, sometimes, a lot of people get into endorsements and they be playing stuff that they don't really like, but well, they giving it to you, so I'm gonna play it, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't really like it. And I was never that type of person. I don't want to be endorsed by a company just because they're giving me something, and I really don't like to play it. I'm secretly playing all this other stuff I like.
Right.
But when I go out in public, I gotta play this, what I don't like. And I just was never that type of person. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that, they signed me as a Nord artist, and I love playing their keyboards even before I got the
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah. So are you playing a newer keyboard on the album?
Yes.
Nice. And
Um,
we see you play that Nord Grand live? Okay.
Hopefully it's
Okay.
definitely on my back line.
All right. That's what's up. That's what's up. You want to leave us with any words of wisdom?
Hmm, don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people feel like you got to have a whole dissertation of when it comes to wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole bunch of stuff you could say before uh those three words or after. But the main thing you need to not do is give up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up.
Mm.
Because wherever you're trying to go, and you're so much closer to it than you will be if you give up or if you stop trying to get to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Destiny is a hard road to veer off of because you got to go through so many obstacles and turns and to get back on that straight road.
Mm-hmm.
So just stay to it. And it's easier said than done because there's been some times where I wanted to give up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not too long ago. But you gotta have your moment, then you gotta get through it. My dad used to say, going through is better than being stuck,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know. So if you go through, that means you gotta come out.
You got to put that on a t-shirt. Sell that on a tour.
Right.
I'm serious. So it was a point where you felt like it wasn't going to happen for you?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially when I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then I got sick in 24, and then I got better, and then I got sick, even more sick, you know, some months later, and I was like, I guess this must be it. But
Yeah.
then, it's good to have people in your corner and in your life that know how to talk you through it and know how to, you know, get you out of that rut and
Mm-hmm.
say, nope, you can't do it. We ain't letting you. God put people in my life that I could count on, you know. So that's why I'm still here.
Amen. Well, your testimony uh, is encouraging to me. So I will not give up. I
Mhm.
won't give up, even more now, because, I think we're supposed to be at a certain place by a certain time, at a certain age, you know. And then sometimes the sayings that we've heard, we replay them in our heads, but then they don't hit the same.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just need that some new encouragement or something, some fresh air. So that's what talking to you tonight has done for me. And I hope and pray that it does it for um, whoever is meant to hear this and listen to this. So thank you. We will see you on your tour,
Yes.
the Perfect Remedy tour. We'll check you out online, doobiepowell.com. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution to the world, for your music. It is going to help bring us all through. And thank you so much for being on air with Akilah, the genius.
Thank you, Akilah. Appreciate it.